What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of SlateBored. Today we got Javier
Yo.
and Matt here talking about what the next X-Men solo film should be. I will start us off at I would like to see Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver film. You can go a lot into that with you know, their father is Magneto. You know, do I go follow in family footsteps,
Right.
or do you go my own direction and
Right.
you know, choose my own path?
Right.
Skip out the incest part because I don't think that's I don't think that would go fare well to with general audiences.
Right.
Nobody
Not
would
for the
wanna do
kids.
that. Right.
Not for the kids.
Well, would it be more like a coming of age story kind of thing, where it's like them discovering who their dad is and like then dealing with it while also dealing with their powers? In which case, you could probably get by with the PG-13, or do you want to go full on? Like, are these also going to be kind of rated R, or?
I think it would borderline R. You know, I think it would be better to have them early, around the mid-20s, to where they're working with their dad.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously they don't want to be.
Right.
So.
I mean, Logan proved that you can make but even Deadpool even proved that you can make an R-rated film. People are going to come and watch it, so you can go way more different directions because you're able to do more with the rated R film, and it still makes a lot of money too. So, you know what I mean? I think that's what the studios were afraid of for a long time. You know, because nowadays studios just want to make money, or they're trying to make as much money as they can, which is a good thing. You know, you need to try to make money off your movie. But so they kind of strayed away from R-rated films, just because, you know, that's not a ticket they could sell to another little kid. But now, since Deadpool came out and then Logan came out, you know, you've got a popular character like that, people are gonna come and watch it, and they'll, you know, so.
Would you recast Magneto, or would you try to see if Ian McKellen or Michael Fassbender would do it again?
I feel like Michael Fassbender would be a good pick.
Okay.
I feel like Ian McKellen is
too old.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's hung up his helmet up already.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Right.
That's cool. I can see that, and I mean that would, and you could have like if done right, you could have like peripheral characters off on the side that maybe don't even have a cameo, but like the way they handled the X-Men and Logan, where it's like you heard about things that happened in the past, but instead of it happening in the past, it's happening elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like, they could be an announcement that Jean Grey spoke to Congress or something, or about mutant powers. Like, you could tie in the very first film into those if they wanted to, or you could have things like mentioned like in the news in the background, so you're still focusing on these characters, but you also are letting the audience know that they are in this world.
Right.
I could see that.
Or I mean, you could even go with the newer, or like the older generation ones.
Right.
Like with Michael Fassbender, you know, you could have even Evan Peters back as Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Because there is a deleted scene in Days of Future Past where his mom tells his little sister to go up and plays with your older sister. So I think that might have been a little clue into Scarlet Witch is alive in this.
Right.
Do they have? I mean, I know they have Quicksilver, but does Fox have the Scarlet Witch?
I think I'm pretty sure they would because I think that's the shared thing with with Disney and Fox's. You know, we can each have one of these, but that's why they killed Quicksilver in Age of Ultron, because they didn't want to confuse them.
Right. I can see that.
But I'm pretty sure they could throw in a Scarlet Witch at some point.
Yeah, they can't mention something.
If they're gonna use Evan Peters as Quicksilver, are they gonna keep it in the same timeline? So like, it's gonna be like if 20s is gonna be like him. I mean, I know he's playing himself younger, but I mean, that would be like 90s maybe.
Maybe you can go with that.
So, I mean, I would.
Because X-Men timelines are so.
I'd watch that.
You
have to really work hard to put it in the right place.
They seem to jump in like gaps of time.
Yeah.
So you can have they start in 63, then with 73, 83. You can do 93, And since '92 is when the animated series comes out, you can throw that in there since Logan has X-Men comics. Why not have a TV show?
I got you. So, well, I could see that. I could see that. I don't know. I mean, the thing I think that works so good for like the X-Men is the team aspect, and so there are very few characters that I personally think could hold their own movie. I mean, Logan's a loner. Like Wolverine is kind of like the odd man out, and so like that lends itself to running its own film, telling your own story. Personally, I know that Fox is going to make a new X-Men movies, especially with the success of Logan. I don't know. I think like the way they are handling like Legion and things like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think if you did like an X-Men TV show and saved and if you could merge TV and cinema like a little bit more so than what Marvel's doing or even what DC's doing, like have Fox say, you know what? If people like these characters on TV, let's put them in the movies. So you could have like Professor X and like the X-Men recruiting mutants, and so you could do kind of cutaways and have like, oh, here's a mutant that's discovering their powers, and like you could have a whole episode with that person dealing with that, and you could slowly introduce all these characters and they'd have their moments, and so you might have an episode that focuses on Scott and Jean, or you might have an episode that focuses on Storm, and then you could also have the introduction of the younger kids as they're developing their powers. And I think if it works well, you could then bring them into a movie. I mean, they own it, so why not? But at the same time, I think if they're just going to do movies, then I think a solo Storm film would be amazing.
Would you keep
she's one of the
one from Apocalypse as her Storm?
I haven't seen. Forgive me, I don't know who the actress is. But I think I liked her look.
I did.
I also like the way she played the character. I mean, they didn't give her a whole lot, and I think they handled her wrong in the film, kind of. But yeah, why not? I think if you used her and then like maybe kind of did some like a little bit of progression, made her look a little bit older. She's lost the mohawk. She now has the hair, but you could keep the mohawk for like the first half of the movie, and like you could tie in the continuity if they want to keep the continuity, and so you could see her like maybe eventually come back to the X-Men where she goes off and she's on her own doing her own thing, and maybe there's a scene or a segment of the film where like she's being worshipped by tribes.
Yeah.
Kind of that ties back into more like the lore of the comic. I don't know. I think that'd be amazing.
All right. Who would you pick?
Well, obviously, I'm not going to get another Wolverine Logan film. Obviously, those are all good. I think you need two things if you want a successful standalone X-Men film. They have to be a popular character. You know, they can't be. I was talking off film. They can't be like the character. I don't know. Y'all know, like the Dazzler, or Jubilee, or whatever. Or they can't be some obscure. Legion, David Haller, they're doing a really good job on that part. Nobody really knows who he was, so you can, if you wanted to do, like, tell a story that maybe nobody's heard before, you could do maybe an obscure character that nobody knows about, but it's going to be really hard to get at least the fan base going. So I was thinking, Jean Grey. They have to have really popular. Let me go back on that, and they have to have good story arcs. Stories that people know about. That Wolverine has had numerous story arcs that are really popular. You know what I mean? Death Wolverine, when he went to Japan, he has a bunch of stories that you could go off of. If you don't have a good story, me personally, if you don't have a good story, you don't have other good supporting characters, it's not gonna be very. Jean Grey has the Dark Phoenix saga. Maybe even Gambit has. He was always a popular character. Also, I really liked Colossus and the Negasonic Teenage Warhead. We were talking about, we were talking about the duo. You're talking about Quicksilver and Scarlet, which I liked their kind of dynamic between like mentor and like he was kind of like a father figure to her, and she was like the rebellious teen, and he was trying to show her the right way how to go about being an X-Men.
Like part coming of age, part buddy comedy.
But yeah, you know what I mean.
Because,
So
you
that
know,
could even be like that could be a way to go. So, but I think the number one would probably be a Jean Grey, just because she's a popular character. You have so many just off the Dark or the Dark Phoenix itself. You could go. There's a whole saga to that.
Would you keep
movie.
like Sophie Turner and follow through with it, or would you like recast? Because also like the X-Men play a heavy role in the Dark Phoenix. I mean, there are moments where it's just her.
Yeah.
And so it would kind of be a solo flick, but would you try to like would you like downplay the other X-Men's involvement and just focus on her, or would you like I mean, because like
it's kind of hard because you think of Jean Grey, you also think of Cyclops because there were a couple. So I think you may have to have him in there at least. It would maybe mainly have to be her, in my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, and then you can have, like I said, I think you have to have Scott Summers in there, Cyclops. Because you can't talk about a love interest. They're together so.
Both your ideas, I think, what I love about this is if you think about this, if Fox plays it smart and they try to do like the Marvel Cinematic Universe where they build up the X-Men universe, they could, in theory, do all these side little films, solo films, where you see other characters, and then like when they do like their Avengers, but it's the X-Men films, you could have like the actual Dark Phoenix saga pay off. Like that's when it triggers. Like everything in Jean Grey's solo flick has been leading towards the Dark Phoenix saga, where like the X-Men have to unite to fight them on. And maybe you do that a little bit later, like phase 2 of the X-Men, where like you've already established it. But that's not. I mean, that just kind of popped in my head where you're like, you could do all these little solo things, and then have the big, huge films with everyone. And it could, in theory, work. Like, you could do a film where they're recruiting New Mutants. Yeah. You could do a film where it's like, okay, this is the Storm solo flick. This is the... Yeah.
So, I think, there's a lot of possibilities out there. Yeah. And I guess we'll see what Fox decides to do next.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, guys, what do you think? Did we get anything right? What did we get wrong? What would you like to see? Hit us up on Twitter @SlateBored or Facebook @SlateBoard as well. See you guys later.